Hello everyone. Well, it's been a long time coming, but finally I've got round to making the video where I answer your questions. Now, I put a video out asking for questions. I don't know when it was. It could have been in December, might have been January, but it was quite some weeks and months ago. And I thought, because of the times we're living in at the moment, some of you may have more free time on your hands to watch YouTube videos. I haven't really got much more free time because I'm still having to go to work. But for those of you who don't have to go to work or school, I hope you're coping at the moment. We're in lockdown in the UK, and so a lot of people are not really allowed to go out unless it's to exercise or to go to the supermarket or to do something very important. There's no leisure allowed really, just you can go for a walk with your dog. But yes, strange times we're living in, but hopefully you're keeping your peckers up and getting on and coping as well you can. Anyway, enough of that. We'll go to the vacuums. This is all you're wanting from my channel, obviously. I do mainly vacuum cleaners, apart from I did an Elna press, didn't I, earlier in the week. I thought I'd do something different, and I might be, if I have time myself, I might show you a washing machine and tumble dryer and some other things. But there is tons and tons and tons of stuff in the pipeline, and I'm hoping to upload a little bit more content than I have been, just to keep you entertained, hopefully. Right, well, I've got the video comments in front of me and I'm going to read them. I've just sorted them by newest first, so if you were one of the first to ask a question, you'll probably be one of the last. I'm going to try and stick it to one video and get on with it. So here goes. And only 2 days ago, Jake Alley says, "Hi Roger, how are you and how's Daisy? Have you used your Kirby Ultimate G Diamond Edition? I bet it's easy to push on your new carpet. Speak to you soon." Well, Jake, how's Daisy? Molly's fine as well. We mustn't forget Molly. Daisy? Well, are you coming? Daisy May? No, she's on her bed, but she's fine. Both the dogs are fine. They're just enjoying the sunshine we've been having at the moment. They're getting fed. They're getting plenty of cuddles, and they're completely oblivious to what's going on. To be a dog. No, Jake, I've not used my Kirby Ultimate G Diamond Edition on this carpet, but yes, I think on the correct setting, on the correct height setting, it will work pretty well, because it's a big American vacuum, and the carpet I've got in my living room that I'm kneeling on at the moment is quite a deep plush pile, very like an American carpet. It reminds me of the sort of carpets I used to see in Dynasty back in the 80s, and I used to think, ooh, what lovely carpets they've got. Why can't we have nice carpets like that in the UK? Well, we do have carpets like that, and they're a nightmare. But anyway, yes, that I'm sure the Kirby, when I eventually get round to doing some more Kirby videos, I'm sure it will perform very well. Okay, next comment from AC Lil Corner. How are the yellow and orange Hoover Celebrity Air Ride? Do you still use them? Happy 2020, Roger. Well, that shows you how old these comments are. That was 2 months ago. Well, they're fine as far as I know. I've got the orange one, Celebrity, is the new in the box one, which I, to be honest, haven't used basically since I got it. And I've no idea where the yellow one is, but I have used that a bit. It's somewhere in storage. So yes, I hope to get those out again and play with them at some point. But as far as I know, the last time I saw them, they are fine. I'm not sure how well they will float though on this carpet. They floated fine on the very short pile carpet I used to have in the living room. Not sure how well they'll float on a plush pile. But yes, as far as I know, they're okay. Right, let's have a look. Right, so a long one here. I think it's from a gentleman called Tarang. I think it's a gentleman. Singh. I hope I've pronounced that right. He probably won't be watching this. Dear sir, I like your videos as they have good content and very useful. I have a specific question. I have used many Vax vacuum cleaners and noticed that the filter gets clogged after cleaning carpets of 4 double bedrooms and stairs due to human hairs. due to which I need to wash filter after every use as the vacuum cleaner loses its suction unless filter is washed. This is frustrating, so I started looking for filterless pre-motor filter vacuum cleaners. I found Dyson Kinetic Big Ball, which seems to be the solution for me, but it has been discontinued. Yeah, probably a reason they discontinued that, because they let so much dust through into the motor. You'll find that they are, in the UK certainly, they're not available. You might still be able to get them. I don't recommend the Dyson filterless vacuums, personally. Right. Yes, well, he is right. He or she is right in saying that the filterless technology did not work well. I'm looking for a vacuum cleaner with good suction and low or no filter maintenance. Get a bagged vacuum then. Yeah. Are there any vacuum cleaners available without filters? No, not really. Unless you get, well, even water filter vacuums, I think, have filters apart from the water. I'm also considering the following vacuum cleaners with filters: Henry, Dyson Small Ball Allergy, Dyson Big Ball Animal 2, Dyson Big Ball Multifloor 2 vacuum. Could you please advise which of these would have least filter maintenance with good suction power for carpets? Okay, if you're just talking about least filter maintenance, then Henry. Henry, without a doubt. Henry with the correct, genuine, pneumatic HEPA flow bag will give you the least amount of maintenance, not just filter maintenance, the least amount. If you go for a Henry, personally I would go for one of the compact Henrys, the 160 versions, because they're a bit lighter and more nimble around the home. And if you don't get a Henry with a turbo tool, you can buy the turbo tool, but I would recommend the full-size turbo nozzle for the Henry as well. All those Dysons you mentioned, they still have filter maintenance, but they're all much of a muchness. But comparing a Henry to a Dyson upright is chalk and cheese. You will get better carpet cleaning performance from a Dyson, because the Henry, of course, unless you get turbo nozzle, it's suction only. Out of the Dysons, probably out of that list, the Small Ball Allergy. But if you want very little maintenance, if that's your main priority, Henry. That's why they're used in commercial environments, because people don't have time in a commercial situation to keep maintaining filters and cleaning stuff out. Oh dear. I always I can't pronounce this. Fernan Schufer, I think that could be. Hello, Happy New Year from the Dutch. I have a question. Why are you so fascinated by vacuum cleaners? I don't know, Fernan, because I started liking vacuum cleaners when I was about 18 months old. I've just always liked them, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this channel, who watch my channel and other vacuum cleaner channels, probably couldn't tell you why, and a lot of them will say they started liking vacuum cleaners when they were very young. Yes, I don't know if I'm fascinated by them anymore. I was as a child. They do interest me. I like using them. I like discovering new models. I like trying them out. And I like collecting them, especially from the 70s and 80s and 90s, because they remind me of my youth. So yeah, I don't know. I've answered this before. I've no idea why. It's an odd thing to like, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous thing to be interested in. To most people who don't watch this channel, they find it quite puzzling. But everyone likes something different, and the world would be a very boring place if we all liked the same thing. So I don't know is the answer to that. It's just something I like. Isaac Howard, best budget vacuum cleaners under £75, i.e. as the Smart Price, and the Argos one like the Bush one. Video request. Well, I can't recommend any. I can't recommend any vacuum under £75, to be honest. So, you know, those Asda ones and the Argos, all those cheap budget vacuums, they're okay at the beginning, and I've done some of those on my channel and they seem to pick up well, but they don't last. If that's your only vacuum, they require constant filter cleaning for them to work properly, because they use single or dual cyclonic action. Most of them just use a single cyclone, and you know, they just, and I can't really recommend, personally I can't recommend any to you out, you know, for budget. You know, I still think Henry, if you're looking for a budget cleaner, because you can, when they're on offer, you can get a Henry for £90 if you want a cylinder. So when Henry's on offer, and they often do go on offer, if you can get a Henry for £90, then I would personally go for a Henry, to be honest. Or a James, a James. You can normally get a James cheaper than a Henry sometimes. Yeah, I can't really, you know, I've been spoilt with the vacuum cleaners, because I try all sorts of different ones, and I always go back to the better. The ones I prefer tend to be the more expensive bagged machines, tend to be German, but no, I can't, you know, because I can't tell you which is best, because when I buy one of those cheap vacuums, I hardly ever use it. You know, it just gets used in a video. I keep meaning to sell them. Most of them I want to sell. I don't want to keep them. They're not keepers. I haven't got enough experience of very, very cheap vacuums. I have got some that I haven't tested yet. I have got some new Asda Goblin ones that I haven't actually shown you, but I'll reserve my judgment on them. But if you get 1 or 2 years out of a cheap upright, if you want an upright, if you look after it, you know, they're okay, but I couldn't personally recommend any, to be honest. So that's my answer, I'm afraid. Bob Jonathan, how tall are you? 4'2". But not really. Right. Greg Bouchard, hi mate, how are you? Okay mate. Happy New Year mate. Have a good day mate. How are you? Okay mate. Have a good day mate. From Greg Bouchard. Have a good day mate. Can I have a shout out on your YouTube channel mate? It would be good for you to do it mate. Can you let me know? Greg. Hello Greg. Greg's very enthusiastic, I think, about vacuums. He comments a lot. I'm sure I've seen him commenting on other channels. So Greg likes his vacuums, don't you, Greg? I think he cleans, he valets cars, doesn't? I think you do that, don't you, Greg? I think you clean cars, don't you, for people? Anyway, hello, Greg. Bright Star 53. Happy New Year. Thank you. Bit late. It's my fault. What would you say is the best all-rounder for carpets, hard floor and pet hair? Oh. This is why I don't like questions like this, because I can't answer that without I need more specifics. I need for you to tell me, what would you prefer? Do you like an upright or cylinder better? Do you want bagged or bagless? Do you want a corded or cordless? Have you got any preference to brands? You know, right, well, and I know I'm going to be hated for saying this, because a lot of you don't like Shark, but personally, one of the Shark cleaners, certainly the newer ones with the anti-hair wrap technology, I find those the best. Just one of the more basic Shark powered liftaways. For me, if I had to choose a bagless vacuum anyway, I would go for that, especially with a powered liftaway, because yes, it is an all-rounder. It does carpets well, it's very good on hard floors, especially with the Duo Clean technology, and because of the liftaway aspect of it, it's good on stairs as well, because you can take off the liftaway pod. So I'd go personally, depending on the size of your house, for one of the smaller. I can't give you a specific model because they change all the time. So that would be my recommendation. And on the whole, if you're cleaning up pet hair, you're better off with an upright with a rotating brush, or a cylinder with a turbo brush of some sort, or a power nozzle like this SIBO. But I wouldn't call that a best all-rounder, that SIBO. yeah, I would go for sharks. Sorry, I'll get a thumbs down for that. But yeah, I like using them, and they are versatile. Yeah, so that's my answer. GCSJMDGEM 1992. Can you please do another big mess test? Well, possibly. At some point. I've done a few sort of mini mess tests that I've videoed, which are sort of included in some unboxing videos, so you'll be seeing those at some point. I haven't got anything too messy because I've just got a new carpet and I don't really want to mess that up. But yes, at some point I will do another big mess test. Right. Alfie Selway. Alfie X Selway, I think that is. I have another question, so possibly Alfie, I think your name will be, has asked a question earlier. So, how many vacuum cleaners roughly do you have in your collection? Very roughly, I haven't counted recently. Well, it's over 200, but I want to get that down to 100. It's choosing which ones to let go of. But yeah, it will be over 200, and I'm not proud of that fact. It's not something to be proud of. Oh, here's the second question. My question is, what numeric vacuum would you recommend? Well, I'm assuming that's a typo and it's pneumatic. If you want a pneumatic, they're much of a muchness, to be honest, no matter what you go for. If you're looking at the domestic line, basically they're all very, very similar. They do vary because obviously you get the 160 size and the 200 size. I personally prefer the compact versions, so it depends if you want a pink or a red, go for a compact Henry or Hetty. If you don't mind a Hetty, the Hetty Extra with the large turbo nozzle is quite good. I'm not sure if the Henry Extra is the compact or bigger one, but of course it doesn't matter. You can go, even the James, the lighter version, a bit more basic, is fine as well. And of course you can add toolkits. You can add the turbo nozzle later. You could myhenry.co.uk, where you can buy the Henrys and the toolkits. You can buy all sorts of different tools, but basically, to be honest, the main cleaners are much of a muchness. The filters differ on some of them, but I think they've all got the same motors in. It depends if you want one specifically for more pet hair. Really any of them are fine, to be honest. If just you can, as I say, add to them. You can get more tools and things if you want to. Right. Manis 9130. Hi Roger, my question: do you feel as though the ever-increasing European noise and energy uses restrictions are helping drive innovation and technology development in the vacuum world, or do you think they're hurting Europeans' ability to keep their homes truly clean by reducing the suction and agitation that vacuums now offer? I feel like you've handled so many old and new machines, including commercial ones, that you'll have a great point of view on what the trend is for brand new designs on the cutting edge of the vacuum world. I don't mean this to be political, and I'm not sure that there is even a political side of this. Well, there's the EU, which is very political. Regardless, I'm just wondering about the restrictions, the vac technology, and the performance of the new ones. Thanks. Well, the EU did a good thing in some ways by limiting the wattage. They went too far though, personally. Some of you might know that now vacuums sold in the EU, and including at the moment UK, are still under EU law, and I personally think the vacuum regulations will probably be kept even when the UK finally leaves the EU properly in December this year, if they do. But reducing the wattage was good, but I think it should have been reduced to 1200, not 900. And reducing the noise level, which they did, that was a good thing as well. And having a system where people can see how well they filter the air. Now, as long as those tests are accurate, but the EU energy label has changed now because I don't think they have the performance rating, because there was a bit of a hoo-ha about that, and they weren't always accurate. I like using old technology. It's very nostalgic to use old technology, and as long as you don't have allergies, you can use older vacuum cleaners quite well in your home. Although saying that, you can upgrade the bags on most of the older cleaners, because most of the older cleaners that I like to use are bagged machines. So there are many cleaners that you can fit more fleece or sort of HEPA type bags to, which does improve the airflow and the filtration. So even the likes of this Hoover Junior here, look, I love using this. I mean, people nowadays, well, some people would look at that and think, oh, ooh, I wouldn't want to use that. But there are people that would, this is so light. It is so light, easy to push, does a good job. It's not noisy, doesn't use loads of electricity. It's just a bit basic. It still cleans the carpets though. Not very good on hard floors, but you know, you can put a fleecy HEPA type bag in these. But the majority of people, I think that what's happening with vacuum cleaners, obviously it's cordless. It's all about the cordless. And still, I've not found a cordless vacuum that I would be happy to just have as my only vacuum. Some people will say, oh yes, this one is fine, blah blah, but personally, I'm speaking personally, and I've got a lot of experience of using hundreds and hundreds of different vacuums. No, I like cordless for the quick clean, and I often grab a cordless cleaner if I just want to whip round. But no, for a deep clean, I still think an upright or a cylinder, mains powered, you still need that. But yeah, I do think, and I don't want to see it, but I do think that cordless eventually will take over and sell more than any other type. Mains powered will be pushed to one side, and then somebody will look at even the most modern mains powered vacuum and they'll look on it the same way as people would look on this Hoover Junior now. They would say, oh, they'd look at it and it doesn't look, you know, flashy, it's not bagless, it's not got all the technology, it just does the job. Simple and effective. That's what I like. Let's see what else. So that's where I see the market going. More and more cordless. There are some brands still that haven't gone cordless, and there are some brands that haven't gone bagless. But if they want to survive, I'm afraid that vacuum manufacturers are going to have to go with the trend, which is cordless, and robotics are creeping in as well, and they're getting better. You'll see some more. Well, I've got this. Look, you haven't seen it properly yet. The world's first commercially available robotic vacuum, the Electrolux Trilobite, weighs a ton. And, oh, my latest robot, again you've not seen it yet. It isn't the latest Dyson, but because now we have that purest one, is it? But I do have this as well, look, which is some good points, but some bad points. Doesn't like this carpet, which is quite a bad point for an £800, whatever it cost, robot. But yeah, I just had to get one to try it out, you know. So yeah, I think it's cordless, robotic technology, and I think the traditional bagged mains powered vacuum is going to start declining. That's what I feel is going to happen. I don't want that to happen, but as a collector, and a lot of you are collectors, it doesn't matter to us because we can still use our favourite old machines, and we know that, quite frankly, the old technology can clean just as well or better in many cases than these modern cleaners. But as far as energy use, you know, the old ones, I mean, this Junior here, I mean, I don't know where they're rating it. I think it's underneath. What's the wattage of this? 300 watts. 300 watts. It still picks up. I've got an Electrolux over out of shot there. It's I think 600 watts. That's fine. For an upright, 600 watts is fine. So, I don't know. Who's to say? I'm not privy to what's going on in the design rooms of vacuum cleaner manufacturers, but that's my prediction. It's going to be cordless. The future is cordless. Dyson keep introducing different variations of their cordless stick, which we don't have it in the UK at the moment. I'm not sure if we will. I don't know if the UK public are quite as gullible, but there is the outsize, V11 outsize, which the V11 I've got I hardly use because it's already too heavy in the hand for me. The V10 is acceptable, but the V11 is just ridiculous. And I believe the V11 outsize is even heavier. You know, fair enough, it's got a wider cleaning head, which is probably a good thing, but Dyson need to, you know, take a bit of focus away from the stick type cordless and design some proper full-sized and upright and a cylinder, you know, maybe sort of a more compact version of their light ball, but a cordless version of that. Why can't they? You know, don't stick to the same form factor that they've got now. They need to branch out because other manufacturers are doing it, and I'll be showing you quite a few on my channel. I've got full-size cordless cylinders, full sort of more or less full-size cordless uprights that are more like an upright, and they don't have the motor unit in the hand, which a lot of people don't like the weight in the hand. So I think we might be seeing in the next 5 or 10 years full-sized cordless vacuums that really have the power and the well, they won't have the runtime of a mains, but they will run for a lot longer and do a decent job. So that's what I think's coming up. That's a long answer, so hopefully I might have to do more than one of these. Naheem, hi, Happy New Year. What's your opinion on the Hoover Aquamaster S4470? Ours has been our main vacuum for almost 29 years now. Yeah, can't beat an Aquamaster. I've got new in the box one. I also got one from a charity shop. I did a video of that. Lovely machines. They were brought out when Vax really were the most popular. At the time, I think the Vax 3-in-1 tub was the most popular vacuum cleaner in Great Britain for a period of time. And Hoover had to do something about that. You know, they had to produce something to sort of compete with the Vax. And the Aquamaster came out. And I've had all generations of them from brand new, you know, the first generation that came out, and then the second, and then the Aquamaster Ecotronic, and then they finally put a pump in the Aquamaster and called it the AquaJet. And I've got Hoover Jet and Wash and other ones. I don't know if were made by Hoover. But yeah, the Aquamaster, yeah, excellent. Made in the UK, made in Scotland, I think, that one. So yes, what's my opinion? Very good machine. If you see one in reasonable condition anywhere, I'd get it. Right, Edgar. Oh, I can't pronounce his surname, Edgar. Grave. Sorry, Edgar. You know who you are. Hello? Your channel is one of my favourite on YouTube, but normally only watch when you unbox and review vintage vacuum cleaners. I often wonder how you manage to get time for making all videos and editing if you also have a full-time job. All that involves YouTube must take up a lot of your spare time. And by the way, Roger is your real name, right? Not just an alias. Wish you all the best in 2020. Abahoo lol. Well, yes, Edgar, if that's your real name. Roger is my real name and not an alias or an alias. Yeah, that is my real name. Roger the Dodger. Roger the Lodger I've been called, and quite a few other things I've been called by some nasty people. They can't call me it anymore. Right, let me see. Well, basically, I don't do much more in my spare time. I do have other interests, but I don't obviously take all my time making videos. It's quite quick to make a video. If it's an unboxing video, it doesn't take much time at all. Just set up my lights, set my camera up, get the vacuum and video the unboxing. That's easy. Then, yes, the editing probably takes longer than the actual recording, because I normally have to edit out quite a lot of swearing, and sometimes if my belly encroaches too much into the shot, I have to, you know, trim the picture to try and prevent everyone seeing how fat I am. So that does take up, you know, quite a lot of time to cover that up. So, you know, I just fit it round. My job is very early in the morning. So I get my job over and done with. Most of my, you know, I'm home by the time most people are just setting off to work. So I have a lot of time at home. I'm still quite tired when I come home, but most of the time I have the house to myself during the day, weekdays. I don't get much done at weekends. So if I feel like doing a video, I'll do a video. So I just fit it in around what else I'm doing. I don't know what the ABBA Who is referring to, but ABBA, yeah, ABBA. Right. Ben McGrath, when are you doing a demo on the Shark Apex corded stick vacuum cleaner? I don't know if I've got a Shark Apex corded stick. The only corded stick, and it's not an Apex in the UK, I did a full house demo of that when I was in Wales. I don't know if that's the one you mean. If you mean the anti-pet hair wrap thingy. That's the only one I can think. But yeah, I've got loads. You don't have to tell me. I've got loads of demos I need to do. But again, well, it's finding the time. Christian Alexander Doherty from Newcastle Gateshead. Now that Haya, I don't know how it's pronounced correctly, have took over the full ownership of Hoover Candy Group, what do you think Hoover should do moving forward in the floor care sector? To be honest, Christian, I don't care what Hoover do now, because Hoover have gone. Hoover as I know it, and Hoover as a lot of you know Hoover in the USA, is not the company you grew up with. They're not producing the vacuum cleaners that you grew up with and enjoyed using or lusting over in the mail order catalogues. You know, I've still got quite a lot of more modern Hoovers to show you, newer models, but a lot of them are just rebadged. They're just from a no-name manufacturer, and they just slam the Hoover badge on. So I don't know what Haya will do. I'm not impressed, to be honest, with Hoover's current lineup. So basically, I'm going to have to say, I know you're a big fan of Hoover, but modern Hoover is dead to me. There are far better manufacturers producing vacuum cleaners currently than Hoover. But as far as vintage, yeah, I love the Hoover cleaners. For the vintage cleaners, 60s onwards, 60s up to the 90s, but probably the 60s and 70s produced some of the best Hoover cleaners. You know, still working now, still doing a good job. This one's an 80s cleaner, I think, and I do like a lot of the 80s models, but yeah, they went downhill with that Free Flights promotion. Things started going downhill. Candy took them over, and that was the first nail in the coffin. And then, to me, they've been... no. Sad, but that's my opinion. I don't really care what Haya are going to do. One thing I will say in Hoover's defence, or at least Hoover produce bagged vacuum cleaners still. Some manufacturers don't even give you the option of bagged or bagless. So at least Hoover... I know there are German brands that produce bagged cleaners, but in the more mass market, that's one thing that I'm pleased that Hoover still do, but how long they'll still do bagged cleaners. But people must still buy them because they won't still make them. If sales of bagged vacuums drop off significantly, then they'll probably reduce the range of bagged cleaners they can sell, and maybe even drop them altogether. So, hello Joseph, Rose Amelia. Hello Roger, Happy New Year. Although I live in the United States, I was always a big fan of the British television sitcom Keeping Up Appearances, starring Patricia Routledge as the inedible. No, she's not inedible. I wouldn't eat her. Indelible. I can't see. It's my contact lenses. As the indelible Mrs. Hyacinth Bucket. Bouquet. Bucket. Pronounced Bouquet, of course, as Joseph has said. Hyacinth was portrayed as a particularly fastidious housekeeper, always boasting about her lacquered woodblock. and Grade 1 Axminster carpet. Despite Hyacinth's... I'm smiling just thinking about keeping up appearances. Oh, there's a lot to read. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do one more after Joseph, after I've answered Joseph, and then I'm going to have to do another part because too long. See, that's the trouble with these videos. I ramble, but hopefully I'm imparting useful or interesting information. If you don't like it, just take, if you're watching on an iPad, just take your finger and go like that, and then I'll, you know, or just put me on in the background because, you know, you might have a lot of spare time on your hand. You don't need to see my ugly face, you can just listen, you know. I will be showing you some vacuums later. Sorry, Joseph, let's get back to Joseph. Right, I'll start again. Despite Hyacinth's devotion to keeping her house immaculate, we never once did see her using a vacuum cleaner or even mentioning one on the show, leading viewers to speculate what she might have used to keep her flooring clean. I don't think many viewers, Joseph, would have speculated that. I know we will have. Any vacuum fans, and yeah, going slightly off on a tangent, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. When you're watching anything, if you hear a vacuum, even if you're not watching the TV, if you hear a vacuum being used, your interest is suddenly piqued, isn't it? And you look. And I was often, you know, sitcoms are my thing. I still do, and used to love watching sitcoms growing up, and I still love watching them. And because sitcoms are set in normally in a house, a lot of sitcoms are set in a domestic situation. You do see vacuum cleaners. So, you know, I could name the different vacuum cleaners that they had on Birds of a Feather. I don't know if you had that in the UK, in the USA, for example. You know, I could reel those off, and other sitcoms. And even if I just saw the handle, you know, even like in Coronation Street, I saw the handle of a vacuum, I could say to my mum, I said, oh, well, that's a so-and-so, that's a Hoover, blah, blah. That's an Electrolux 170 that Ina Sharples is using there. Right. That's it. Let's get back. I'm going to have to go anyway because my legs, I can't feel my legs. Right, sorry, Joseph. Let's get back to Joseph. Right, given that this show aired in the early 90s and the fact that Hyacinth would never have settled for anything other than the best, I'd wager she would have had the top-of-the-line Hoover Sensatronic canister with motorised floor brush for her everyday cleaning, perhaps supplemented by Hoover Aquamaster to deep clean her carpets, and of course to clean up spillages left by her poor neighbour Elizabeth. I doubt if an upright cleaner would have been suitable for her home as depicted on the show, with all the varying floor types, but I could be wrong. What vacuum cleaner do you suppose Hyacinth would have used? As an avid collector, I think it's fun to try and match a particular vacuum to someone's home/style. Anyway, Happy New Year. Your hypothesis, is that right? I don't know what that means. I'm a bit thick. Roger, take care and have a healthy and happy New Year. Hugs, Joe. Well, the New Year started off quite well, but it's not very good at the moment. Anyway, let's hope we get through this that we're going through. Right. Well, as we all know, Hyacinth was definitely. Oh, I'm going to have to shift my dead legs. Hyacinth was definitely a royalist, you know. Anything upper class, anything royal, connected with royalty, her royal Dalton, she would have been well in. So, two manufacturers in the UK were by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen. Of course, Hoover and Electrolux. So, she may have had an Electrolux, it's the 90s. But you see, I think Hyacinth, I don't think she would have had the latest. If she would have looked after her vacuum. So it's possible she had a vacuum from the 70s or 80s and it still looked pristine. I can imagine her keeping everything, you know. She would not have a vacuum with dust all over it and dents and paint scraped all down the side. Her vacuum would have been absolutely, you know, showroom new. So, given that she could have had an Electrolux 345, I can see her using that on her Axminster, and of course with the automatic head it would go perfectly onto her woodblock flooring. Yes, and that was advertised by a lady called, well, a character, I don't know if her name was Katie Holland, but anyway, it was a lady called Katie. Terry Wogan, a famous DJ from Ireland, also did a TV commercial. The Electrolux 345 was a very sort of plush, I've got one, you'll see that on my channel. So yes, possibly one of those. And for polishing her floor, Electrolux did do polishers, so she might have one of those Electrolux 3-brush polishers. They did one with a sort of triangular shaped head with 3 brushes. She may have had a Hoover shampoo polisher, I suppose. That would have done equally well. She could have shampooed her Axminster and polished her floors, so that would have done. She may have even had a Hoover Turbo Power, because that had the Hoover crest, the royal warrant on it, by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen. She would have liked that. So if it had the appointment, they've got an Electrolux over there that's by appointment, so that's what she would have had. She was all about first impressions. She's all about she wouldn't, put it this way, she would never have had a Goblin, which was or a Moulinex. They're quite budget cleaners in the UK. It would have been a Hoover or Electrolux or combination. But yes, it's fun to think, speculate. We did see, I think, a Hoover Junior in Onslow and Daisy's living room. But yes, I expect that, cheap old Hoover Junior, that is just right for Onslow and Daisy. But yes, Hyacinth would have had something smart, and she'd have kept it well. If you got any suggestions down below what you think Hyacinth Bouquet would have had in her keep her home clean, let me know. She'd have done quite well with a Hoover Double Duty, one of those handheld rechargeables for cleaning up the spillages from Elizabeth next door, spilling the coffee all the time and the broken biscuits. How old are you, not being mean? Well, that is very mean. I'm 23 and a few months. Right, 2 more then. I'll just do 2 quick ones for this video. Lee Colley or Coley, are they all insured? Serious question. You must have a few quid worth. Well, the ones that I've got in storage are insured, but not to the value they're worth. But no, they're not separately insured. I suppose I should think about it. Last one for this video, and I'll put the other one up very shortly, within a day or maybe later today. Manny's 9130. Good point. In the US, I don't know what the good point is referring to. In the US, you would either cover them. Oh, right, sorry, this is a reply. Manny is replying to Lee. Good point. In the US, you would either cover them under your home/renter's insurance, or possibly an umbrella policy that covers a bunch of stuff. He does have a valuable collection, no doubt about it. Yeah, but it's valuable to me and to some collectors, but to the majority of people it's of no value. And I know for a fact, and I've been told this by my partner, pardon me, that if I was to kick the bucket, he would hire a big skip and just get rid of them. I know it's criminal. I must do something about that. I'm going to be getting rid of a load myself. Hopefully some collectors may buy them, I don't know. And for some reason Brannigan Irby has said Hoover Double Duty from the early 80s. I'm not sure what that's referring to. And it's also said Hoover vac call down the charity shop. Oh, £11 or €11. Hoover vac call. I think that's a typo. Right, that's it then. We'll start the next video with Andrew Essen. I think that's how you pronounce it. So thanks for your comments. So if you've commented, I'll hopefully get to all of your comments. I might have to make 2 more videos because obviously I do go on a bit, as I've been told many times. Thank you for the people that say I assume that's how they talk when I read the nasty comments. They probably dribble a lot. Anyway, Yes, even though we're on lockdown, there's still plenty of cars going to and fro. You should be indoors like I am, keeping out of harm's way. Oh, it's somebody. Oh, that's funny. It's a skip lorry. Isn't that funny? Oh, crikey. Perhaps it's coming for my vacuums. Let's hope not. Right, so until the next time, I will be back with some more of your comments, and I'll try and answer your questions. So I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.